MTG Scoundrels. It's in the cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have ourselves some Merfolk versus Dimir Necrodominance. Necrodominance mostly being played in Golgari currently, but Dimir poking its head out with some plays of Psychic Frog, and of course Merfolk, a continuous staple of the format. Looks like Merfolk is on 6. Getting started off here with Island and Pass. Here's a Swamp into a Thoughtseize, bring us to 20 to 18. Ooh, lots to choose from for the Necro player here. Taking the Vidalian Hexcatcher, which is quite the threat when paired with other Merfolk. Here is a Mutavault into an Aether Vial, and passing the turn. And here is Psychic Frog, as we mentioned earlier. Psychic Frog, a good early threat and draw engine for this deck. Vial's going to go to 1, drawn for turn. And passing. Psychic Frog getting in for 1. That'll bring us to 19 to 16, as there was a fetch last turn for a Watery Grave. And here is Dothy Voidwalker, a great threat for these mostly mono black lists. And with where the format's currently, it's also in a great spot. We have a Undercity Sewers that surveilled a land, or surveilled a card to the graveyard there. And here's a Cavern of Souls on Merfolk. And now here is Harbinger of the Seas, which actually takes the Necro player off of Necrodominance if there is one in hand, until at least the Harbinger is dealt with. And that file is on 2 now. Alright, here's a second black source. Getting in for 4. If you block with the Harbinger here, it's definitely going to die because the Necro player is probably going to discard a card to the Frog, putting a +1/+1 counter on it. So instead, taking the damage, going to 15 to 16. Here's a Glorified Island. Passing the turn. Aether Vial staying on 2 here. Drawing a card. But the Dimir Necro player has threats on board. Here is a Lord of Atlantis attacking in for 3. And here's Fatal Push. Fatal Push targeting the Lord of Atlantis. That's not going to get forced here. And here is Vidalian Hexcatcher to try to force through the damage. And here is a March of Wretched Sorrow, targeting the Vidalian Hexcatcher. Looks like in response, gonna sack it. So that way no life is gained for the Necro player. 2 damage coming in. Bring us to 15 to 14. Necro player gonna draw a card. And here is Sheoldred. And that's going to get hit with a subtlety. Putting the Sheoldred on top. Attacking in for 4. Discarding a card. Looks like just a Marsh Flats to actually make that 5. So attacking in, bringing us to 10 to 14. Drawing a card. And scooping them up from there. Game 1, going to Dimir Necro. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. We appreciate all of you that have been tuning in. Make sure to check out our last video, which was Badgermole Cub combo versus Is It Prowess. A little splash of green in there as well. Definitely check out that video. And if you want more information on the Badgermole Cub combo deck, we actually did a video specifically on it after I happened to top 4 with it in an RCQ. So definitely check that out. Moving on to sideboarding. I think the only 2 cards you're bringing in if you're the Dimir Necro player is the Meathook Massacre. Though you could also see Orcish Bowmasters brought in just simply because of some of the card draws that Merfolk may present. Though I would also tend to see, at least in this board, bringing in Mystical Dispute and Inquisition and Kozilek, just because Merfolk's mono blue, that's an easy one to deal with. And bringing in the extra Inquisition when most of their threats are under 3 CMC isn't bad. Now, if you're the Merfolk player, you're probably bringing in some amount of Dismember out of the board here, and if you're playing Kira in the board, I wouldn't be surprised if Kira Great Glass Spinner is brought in as well, just to make the target removal a little bit worse. Moving on to our ads, definitely check out hosts of our channel and friends of the channel, Grove Warden Games, a wonderful place to store mount. Link to their storefront is in the description below, and they're going to be soon having their singles collection up on their website, so definitely check them out. And of course, check out Artists of a Channel and the Dimir Necro player today, Sean Gerard. They make wonderful art, whether you are needing something for a professional setting or just a gift for a friend. Their Instagram's up on the screen, and their email's in the description below. They are open to new projects, so definitely give them a shout. And last but not least, check out our socials. We are at MTG Scoundrels over on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. Most active over on Blue Sky and in the comments below. Definitely let us know what deck you are playing in the format, and that also lets us know you got to this point in the video. So definitely check us out there and reach out to us on our socials. And with that, we are moving on to game number 2. All right, game number 2 getting started here. And looks like keeping 6 for the Necro player. Yep, keeping 6. Merfolk on the play, getting started with an island and passing. Verdant Catacombs and pass for the Necro player. There's a Sink into Stupor, taking 3 for the land side of it. And the Verdant Catacombs is going to get cracked here by the Necro player, probably finding a Surveil land. There it is. So Surveil incoming. Putting it into the graveyard. Looks like a soul spike. And then drawing for turn. Bloodstained Mire getting cracked. And here is Psychic Frog. And Dismember in response. Or at least on the end step. So that's going to put the Merfolk player down to 13 already. And that'll deal with the Psychic Frog. More than likely, unless the Necro player decides to just discard the entire hand. No, deciding to fight a different battle. Otawara's land for turn. And here is a Tide Shaper that's going to target the swamp, it looks like. Untapping, drawing here. Here's a Dark Slick Shores. However, with the Tide Shaper, that means the Necro player is not going to be able to just throw out Necrodominance immediately. But here's a March of Wretched Sorrow targeting the Tide Shaper. Gaining 2 life. And passing the turn. There's an Aether Vial in passing. Oh, and there is Necrodominance. Do we have an answer? Yes, we do. Counterspell. Tap Dark Slick Shores and passing back. File goes to 1. Deciding to play the tempo game plan here and pass the turn. Marsh Flats as the land. And passing. Vial on 2. Saw at least a Sink into Stupor there in hand for the Merfolk player. And there is Inquisition of Kozilek. So 2 Sinks, Dismember, and Tishana's Tidebinder with a Subtlety. So the only card that can't be taken here is the Subtlety. So taking the Tidebinder, getting rid of a threat. Vial's going to go to 3. Passing it back. Real question is, does the Merfolk player decide to play one of these subtle or Sink into Stupors? Both players passing back and forth, deciding to play a Mutavault. And the Vial is now on 4 for that Subtlety. So holding up the Sink into Stupors. Passing again. Subtlety is going to enter off the Aether Vial activation, untap, leaving the Vial at 4. Playing a Sink into Stupor as a land here now. Activating the Mutavault. Attacking in. Here is a Fell the Profane. Targeting the Mutavault. That'll be good. Untapping. Drawing. Sitting at 10 to 17 after the subtlety did its damage. And passing after playing the polluted delta. Attacking in for 3. And here is an Orcish Bowmasters. Attempting to ping the opponent. Don't think you'd be trying to dismember this. Having a long think about it. Okay, so I'm going to cast Tishana's Tidebinder here to counter the trigger. So that means another 3-power threat would essentially double the clock here for the Merfolk player. Polluted Delta, gonna crack, go to 13. Don't mind the score on the counter there. They happen to just barely miss a fetch earlier. Untapping and drawing. Another fetch land. Bloodstained Mire this time. And here is a Meathook Massacre. X is going to be 3 here. So the Necro player is going to gain 2 life. And the opponent is going to lose 1 life. And passing the turn, that certainly deals with some threats. Here's a Cavern of Souls on Merfolk. And here's a Master of the Pearl Trident. All other Merfolk will gain Island Walk. Here's another fetch. Actually, it'll be 2 fetches, finding a couple swamps. Untapping, drawing. There's a Bogart Trawler. That's a 3/1. Exiling the Merfolk player's graveyard. And Dismember is going to target the Bogart Trawler, taking 4. And then losing 1 off of the Meathook Massacre, taking it to 4. Here's a Vidalian Hexcatcher. Pearl Trident going to try to get in. Force of Despair is going to get hit with a counterspell. So I'll bring us to 4 to 10. 2 cards in hand for the Necro player. 1 sink into stupor for the Merfolk player. 3 mana. March of Wretched Sorrow, targeting the Hexcatcher. That'll be countered, so no life gained. Oh, and that is not what you want to see. There's a Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Especially since you already cast your Dismember earlier. Drawing a card, losing 2 life. That'll bring us to 2 to 11. Quite the pickle. Passing. Drawing a card, gaining 2 life off the Sheoldred. That Sheoldred needs to leave the battlefield. Attacking in. Here's a Hexcatcher. The problem is here. Wow. So if the Merfolk player double blocks, there it is. Oh, but there's a March of Wretched Sorrow. X equals 2. Sink into Stupor will try to put the spell back. The Necro player will pay for it again. And that'll be game, set, match. Going to Dimir Necro. What a game 2. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.